I never imagined I'd come home early one evening to find my wife Sarah with another man in our living room. The shock hit me like a freight train, leaving me paralyzed at the entrance of our home. Sarah and I had been together for 10 years, and I thought our marriage was rock solid. But over the past few months, things had started to change. It all began innocently enough when Sarah joined a local board game club. She had always been a fan of board games, and this new hobby seemed like a harmless way for her to unwind and meet new people. She was excited about it, and I was happy to see her so enthusiastic. However, as time went on, her enthusiasm for the club began to overshadow everything else. At the club, Sarah met John. They quickly became friends, often teaming up for various games. At first, I was glad she found someone to share her passion with, but soon, their friendship started to take on a different tone. Sarah began to spend more and more evenings at the club, coming home later each time. I first noticed something was off when she started to become secretive. Sarah had always been open with me, but now her phone was constantly locked with a new password, and she would leave the room to answer calls. One evening, she came home with a faint scent of men's cologne clinging to her clothes. When I asked her about it, she dismissed it casually, saying it was probably from someone at the club. Her nonchalant response didn't sit right with me, but I didn't press the issue. My suspicions grew stronger, and I decided to look at her phone while she was in the shower. The messages I found between her and John were far too intimate to be just friendly. There were countless texts filled with inside jokes, late-night conversations, and even plans for private meetups. I couldn't contain my anger any longer. When Sarah came out of the bathroom, I confronted her. At first, she denied everything, but as I pressed on, her defenses crumbled, and she admitted to having an affair with John. The admission felt like a dagger to my heart. Our marriage, the life we had built together, seemed to unravel before my eyes. The next day, I arranged to meet John. I needed to hear it from him, to understand why he would do this. He didn't deny anything and, to my surprise, confessed that he loved Sarah and couldn't bear to end their relationship. His words fueled my rage, but there was a part of me that felt hollow and defeated. In the days that followed, I was torn. I didn't know if I could ever forgive Sarah, or if our marriage could survive this betrayal. Seeking advice from friends and family, I received mixed reactions. Some urged me to give Sarah a second chance, while others suggested I move on. Sarah was remorseful, pleading for forgiveness and a chance to make things right. Reluctantly, we decided to try couples therapy. Our therapist helped us navigate the pain and confusion. Sarah admitted that she had felt neglected and unappreciated in our marriage, and the attention she received from John filled that void. We started to work on our relationship, rediscovering each other and finding ways to rekindle the romance that had faded over the years. It wasn't easy, but slowly, I began to forgive her. We both made an effort to be more present and attentive, to communicate better, and to cherish our time together. A year has passed since that fateful evening. We've moved to a new city, leaving behind the painful memories and starting fresh. Our marriage isn't perfect, but it's stronger than before. We've learned to value each other and to fight for our happiness. The journey was painful, but it brought us closer, and for that, I am grateful. Joining the board game club was supposed to be a fun diversion for Sarah. She had always loved games, Scrabble, Monopoly, Catan. Our shelves were filled with them. When she found out about the club at the local community center, it seemed like the perfect outlet for her enthusiasm. At first, I was supportive. I even joined her for a few sessions, but it was clear that this was her domain. The group was welcoming, and the atmosphere was light and competitive. That's when she met John. He was charming, with an easy laugh and a knack for strategy games. They quickly became regular partners, and I noticed Sarah's eyes light up whenever she talked about him. The first sign of trouble came subtly. Sarah started to come home later and later, always with the excuse that the game ran long, or that they decided to go for drinks afterward. I brushed it off, thinking it was all in good fun, but the changes in her behavior were hard to ignore. She became more secretive, guarding her phone and disappearing into another room to take calls. I vividly remember the night she came home smelling of men's cologne. It was a scent I didn't recognize, one that lingered even after she changed clothes. When I asked her about it, she laughed it off, saying someone at the club must have hugged her or brushed against her. I wanted to believe her, but doubt had already planted its seed. As the weeks went by, Sarah's absences grew more frequent. Our conversations dwindled, replaced by awkward silences and quick exchanges. I missed the easy banter we used to share, the way she would curl up next to me on the couch with a glass of wine and talk about her day. Now her days seemed filled with John, and I was left on the sidelines, watching as my wife drifted further away. I decided to investigate. One evening, after she had left for the club, I followed her. I felt guilty for spying, but I needed to know what was happening. I parked a few blocks away from the community center and watched as she entered. After a while, I saw her leave with John. They laughed and chatted easily, walking to his car together. My heart sank as I watched them drive off. Later that night, while Sarah was in the shower, I mustered the courage to look through her phone. My hands trembled as I scrolled through their messages. The intimacy of their conversations was undeniable. They shared inside jokes, late-night thoughts, and plans that excluded me. It felt like a punch to the gut. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was slipping away from me. When she came out of the bathroom, I confronted her. The look on her face when she realized what I had done was a mixture of anger and guilt. She tried to deny it, but I showed her the messages. Her defenses crumbled, and she admitted everything. She confessed that she had developed feelings for John, that she felt alive and valued with him in a way she hadn't felt in our marriage for a long time. Her confession left me reeling. I couldn't understand how we had reached this point. We had built a life together and shared dreams and memories. Yet, here we were, standing on the precipice of losing it all. I needed to understand John's side, so I arranged to meet him the next day. Confronting him was one of the hardest things I've ever done. He was remorseful, admitting that he had crossed a line, but he also declared his love for Sarah. It was a surreal experience, sitting across from the man who had stolen my wife's heart, feeling a strange mix of rage and pity. In the days that followed, I was a mess of conflicting emotions. Friends and family offered support, each with their advice. Some encouraged me to fight for my marriage, while others thought I should walk away. Sarah, for her part, was full of remorse. She wanted to fix things, to make amends. We decided to try couples therapy. It was a painful process, dredging up old wounds and airing grievances we had long ignored. Sarah confessed that she had felt neglected and unappreciated, that the spark in our marriage had faded. John had filled that void, making her feel seen and desired. Therapy forced us to confront our issues head-on. We began to communicate more openly, to make time for each other and rekindle the connection we had lost. Slowly, I began to forgive her. It wasn't easy, and there were times when I wanted to give up, but I knew that if we were to move forward, we needed to rebuild our trust. A year has passed since the affair came to light. We've moved to a new city, seeking a fresh start away from the painful memories. Our marriage isn't perfect, but it's stronger. We've learned to appreciate each other more, to communicate better, and to cherish the love we nearly lost. The journey was hard, but in the end, it brought us closer together. The days following Sarah's confession were a blur of anger, confusion, and heartbreak. Each morning, I woke up hoping it was all a bad dream, only to be met with the harsh reality that my wife had betrayed me. We had started couples therapy, but the road to recovery felt steep and uncharted. Our first few sessions were tense. Our therapist, Dr. Miller, was a calm presence in the storm, guiding us through the tumultuous waters. Sarah was open about her feelings of neglect and isolation, while I struggled to balance my rage and desire to fix our broken marriage. I found myself constantly checking the clock during our sessions, anxious for them to end, yet knowing we needed them more than ever. One evening, after an especially emotional therapy session, Sarah and I decided to talk things out over dinner. We sat at our kitchen table, the same one where we had shared countless meals and laughs, now a battleground for our fractured relationship. I asked her to explain how things had gone so wrong. "David," she began, her voice trembling, "I never meant for any of this to happen. When I joined the club, I was looking for an escape. a way to feel alive again. John, he gave me that. He made me feel seen and appreciated in ways I hadn't felt in years. Her words cut deep. I wanted to lash out, to tell her that she should have come to me, that I was her husband, not him. But I bit my tongue, remembering Dr. Miller's advice to listen and understand before reacting. I know I should have talked to you, she continued, tears streaming down her face. But I didn't know how. We had grown so distant, and I felt like you didn't care anymore. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my voice steady. Sarah, I care. I've always cared, but I can't fix what I don't know is broken. Why didn't you tell me you felt this way? She looked down, her hands clasped tightly together. I was scared of what it would mean, scared that you would leave me. Her vulnerability softened my anger. I reached across the table and took her hand. I don't want to leave you. I want to understand. I want to fix this. From that moment on, we made a pact to be more open with each other and to share our fears and desires, no matter how difficult it might be. We continued with therapy, delving into the roots of our problems and learning how to rebuild our trust. One evening, a few weeks later, we decided to revisit the board game club together. It was a small step, but it felt significant. Walking in, I felt a knot of anxiety in my stomach. Would John be there? How would I react if I saw him? But Sarah squeezed my hand reassuringly, and I knew we had to face this together. The club members greeted us warmly, unaware of the turmoil that had unfolded in our lives. John was there, but he kept his distance, sensing the tension. Sarah and I joined a game of Catan, and for the first time in months, I saw a glimmer of the woman I had fallen in love with. We laughed and strategized, and for a few hours it felt like old times. As we drove home that night, I realized that this was just the beginning. Healing would take time, and there would be setbacks. But we were committed to each other, determined to rebuild what had been broken. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. We continued to work on our marriage, slowly rebuilding our trust and intimacy. There were difficult moments, times when doubt and anger resurfaced, but we faced them together. We learned to communicate better and to express our needs and desires without fear of judgment. A year had passed since Sarah's affair came to light, and though the memories still lingered, they no longer held the power to tear us apart. We decided to move to a new city, seeking a fresh start. It was a chance to leave behind the painful memories and begin anew. Our new home was a small but cozy apartment in a quiet neighborhood. We spent weekends exploring the city and discovering new restaurants and parks. We even joined a new board game club where we made new friends and created new memories. One evening, as we sat on our balcony watching the sunset, Sarah turned to me with a smile. David, I know we've been through a lot, but I'm so grateful for where we are now. Thank you for giving us a second chance. I squeezed her hand, feeling a sense of peace wash over me. Thank you for fighting for us, Sarah. I love you. At that moment, I knew that our journey was far from over, but we were stronger for it. We had faced our darkest moments and come out the other side, more connected and in love than ever before. And for that, I was truly grateful. The morning after we decided to attend the board game club together, I felt a strange mix of determination and dread. The club had been the birthplace of our turmoil, and facing it again was a test of our commitment to each other. Sarah and I had taken steps towards rebuilding our trust, but this felt like a true confrontation with our past. That evening, we walked into the community center hand in hand. The familiar faces of the club members greeted us, their cheerful smiles and easy laughter a stark contrast to the storm raging within me. I scanned the room for John, half hoping he wouldn't be there and half wanting to face him directly. John was sitting at a table, engrossed in setting up a game. When he saw us, his expression shifted from surprise to something unreadable. He gave a curt nod, acknowledging our presence without the usual friendly wave. Sarah's grip on my hand tightened, and I could feel the tension in her body. Let's join that group over there, I suggested, pointing to a table on the opposite side of the room. Sarah nodded, and we made our way over, joining a game of Ticket to Ride. The familiar mechanics of the game provided a welcome distraction, and for a while we managed to immerse ourselves in the play. The competitive banter, helping to ease the tension. However, I couldn't ignore John's presence. Now and then, I caught him glancing our way, and I felt a surge of anger. The game eventually ended, and as the other players began to pack up, I knew I needed to address the elephant in the room. I turned to Sarah, her eyes reflecting my determination. "Let's talk to him," I said quietly. She hesitated for a moment, then nodded, her face set with resolve. We approached John's table, where he was gathering his things. He looked up as we neared, his expression wary. "David, Sarah," he greeted us cautiously. "John," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "We need to talk." He glanced around, noting the other club members still milling about. "Maybe we should take this outside," he suggested. We agreed and walked out to the parking lot, the cool evening air a stark contrast to the tension simmering between us. Once outside, I turned to John. "I need to understand why," I said, my voice firm but controlled. "Why did you get involved with my wife? Did you ever consider what it would do to us?" John sighed, running a hand through his hair. "David, I never meant to cause this much pain. When Sarah and I first started talking, it was just about the games. We connected over our shared interests, and it felt easy. I didn't think about the consequences." "That's the problem," I shot back. "You didn't think. You didn't consider anyone but yourselves." Sarah stepped forward, her voice trembling but resolute. "John, we made mistakes, but we're trying to fix things now. What happened between us can't be undone, but we need to move forward." John looked at her, his eyes filled with regret. "I know, Sarah. I'm truly sorry for everything. I never wanted to come between you two." I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of emotions. Confronting John had been necessary, but it didn't erase the past. "We're moving on," I said finally. "We're working on our marriage, and we need to leave this behind us. I hope you understand." John nodded. "I do, and I respect that. I wish you both the best." We parted ways, the weight of the confrontation lifting slightly as we walked back to our car. Sarah and I drove home in silence, both lost in our thoughts. Once we were inside, she turned to me, tears welling in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for standing by me, for facing this with me." I pulled her into a tight embrace, feeling the depth of our shared pain and the strength of our resolve. "We're in this together," I said softly, "no matter what." As the weeks went by, the confrontation with John marked a turning point in our journey. We continued with therapy, delving deeper into our issues and learning more about each other. The experience taught us the importance of communication, trust, and forgiveness. Sarah and I found new ways to connect, from taking weekend trips to trying new hobbies together. We even started hosting our game nights at home, inviting friends over for evenings filled with laughter and camaraderie. It felt like we were rediscovering the joy and connection that had initially brought us together. The scars of the past remained, but they no longer defined our relationship. Instead, they served as a reminder of our resilience and our commitment to each other. We had faced our darkest moments and emerged stronger, more united. One evening, as we sat together on our balcony, watching the sunset over the city, I realized how far we had come. The road ahead would undoubtedly have its challenges, but I was confident that we could face them together. Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder, and I felt a sense of peace and contentment. In the end, it wasn't just about overcoming the betrayal. It was about rebuilding our love, our trust, and our life together. And as I looked at the woman beside me, I knew we had achieved something truly remarkable. After confronting John and reaffirming our commitment to each other, Sarah and I focused on rebuilding our lives together. But healing wasn't a journey we could undertake alone. We needed the support and guidance of our family and friends. Sharing our story with them was daunting, but we knew it was a necessary step towards fully mending our relationship. Our first stop was Sarah's parents. We arranged to visit them one Saturday afternoon, hoping the familiar comfort of their home would ease the difficult conversation ahead. As we sat in their cozy living room, Sarah's mother, Karen, served us tea while her father, Tom, settled into his favorite armchair. "So, what's been going on with you two?" Tom asked, sensing the tension between us. Sarah glanced at me for support, and I gave her a reassuring nod. Taking a deep breath, she began to explain everything: her feelings of neglect, the affair with John, and our efforts to rebuild through therapy. Her parents listened in stunned silence, their expressions a mix of shock and sadness. When Sarah finished, Karen reached out and took her hand. "Oh, Sarah, why didn't you come to us sooner? We could have helped." Tom leaned forward, his eyes filled with concern. "David, Sarah, I'm glad you're working through this. It takes a lot of courage to face these kinds of issues head on." Their support was a balm to our wounded hearts. They assured us they were there for us, willing to help in any way they could. It was a relief to know that Sarah's parents were on our side, rooting for our success. Next, we needed to talk to my best friend, Mike. Mike and I had been friends since college, and I knew he would have strong opinions about what had happened. We met him for lunch at our favorite burger joint, a place where we had shared countless meals and memories. As we sat down, Mike could sense something was off. "All right, what's going on? You both look like you've been through the ringer." I took a deep breath and laid everything out, sparing no details. Mike's initial reaction was a mixture of anger and disbelief. "I can't believe this, man. How could this happen?" Sarah spoke up, her voice trembling. "Mike, I know what I did was wrong and I regret it every day, but we're trying to move forward and we need your support." Mike stared at us for a moment, then sighed. "Look, I'm pissed and I won't lie about that, but if you two are serious about making this work, then I'm here for you. Just don't expect me to be friendly with John." His blunt honesty was exactly what I expected, and it was a comfort to know he would stand by us, even if he was still processing his feelings about the situation. The most challenging conversation was with my parents. They had always seen Sarah and me as the perfect couple, and I dreaded shattering that illusion. We invited them over for dinner, preparing a meal that I hoped would soften the blow of our news. As we sat around the table, I could feel the weight of their expectations pressing down on me. After we finished eating, I cleared my throat and began to speak. "Mom, Dad, there's something we need to tell you." Their faces were a picture of concern as I explained everything. My mother, always the emotional one, burst into tears. "Oh, David, how could this happen?" My father, ever the pragmatist, asked, "What are you two doing to fix this?" Sarah and I explained our efforts in therapy and our commitment to each other. My parents listened, their expressions softening as we spoke. "We're here for you," my father finally said. "But this is going to take time. Trust isn't rebuilt overnight." My mother nodded through her tears. "Just promise me you'll keep fighting for each other." Their support was crucial, and it gave us the strength to keep going. Sharing our story with those closest to us was painful, but it also brought a sense of relief. We no longer had to carry the burden of our secret alone. With our family and friends behind us, Sarah and I felt more determined than ever to rebuild our marriage. Their unwavering support provided a foundation upon which we could construct a new, stronger relationship. In the following weeks, we continued our therapy sessions, now bolstered by the encouragement of our loved ones. We began to incorporate more activities into our lives that brought us closer together. Weekend hikes, cooking classes, and even volunteering at a local animal shelter. Each new experience helped us rediscover the joy and connection that had once defined our relationship. One evening, as we walked hand in hand through a nearby park, Sarah turned to me with a thoughtful expression. "David, I'm so grateful for the people in our lives. I don't think we could have come this far without them." I squeezed her hand, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. "You're right. Their support has been everything, and it's made me realize how lucky we are to have each other, too." As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the park, I felt a renewed sense of hope. The road ahead would still have its challenges, but with the support of our family and friends and our unwavering commitment to each other, I knew we could face anything together. A few months after our difficult conversations with family and friends, Sarah and I decided it was time for a fresh start. The memories of the past year were too painful to continue living in the same place. We needed a change of scenery, a new beginning where we could leave the shadows of John's presence behind. The idea of moving to a new city had been floating around for a while, and we finally decided to take the plunge. We spent countless weekends scouring real estate listings, visiting potential neighborhoods, and imagining what our new life could look like. Eventually, We found a charming house in a quiet suburb a few hours away from our old home. It had a cozy backyard and a spacious kitchen, and most importantly, it felt like a place where we could rebuild our lives together. The move itself was both exhausting and exhilarating. Packing up our old life into boxes felt cathartic, a way to physically separate ourselves from the past. Our friends and family helped with the move, their presence a reminder of the support system we had built. As we drove to our new home, the tension in the car slowly melted away, replaced by a sense of excitement and possibility. Our first night in the new house was spent unpacking the essentials and ordering pizza, too tired to cook. As we sat on the floor amidst a sea of boxes, Sarah looked around and smiled. "This feels good, doesn't it?" I nodded, feeling a weight lift off my shoulders. "Yeah, it does." Over the next few weeks, we settled into our new routine. We explored the neighborhood, meeting friendly neighbors and finding local spots that quickly became our favorites. There was a park nearby where we took long walks, talking about everything from our plans to silly day-to-day details. These walks became a cherished part of our routine, a time to reconnect and reflect. One weekend, we decided to host a housewarming party. We invited our closest friends and family, wanting to share our new beginning with them. The house was filled with laughter, the scent of home-cooked food, and the warmth of loved ones. As I looked around at everyone enjoying themselves, I felt a deep sense of gratitude. We had come so far, and this new chapter felt like a testament to our resilience. Amidst the chatter and clinking of glasses, Mike pulled me aside. "You've done good, David. This place is great, and you and Sarah seem stronger." I smiled, clinking my glass against his. "Thanks, Mike. It hasn't been easy, but we're getting there." The following Monday, Sarah and I decided to explore the local board game club. It was a tentative step, one that we approached with caution but also a bit of excitement. We missed the social aspect of the club and wanted to see if we could reclaim that part of our lives without the painful associations of the past. Walking into the community center brought back memories, but this time they were tempered by the promise of new experiences. The members greeted us warmly, and we quickly found ourselves immersed in a game of Settlers of Catan. The evening was filled with laughter, friendly competition, and the beginning of new friendships. It felt like a small but significant victory. As we drove home that night, Sarah turned to me with a smile. "I think this is going to be good for us." "I think so too," I agreed. It's nice to make new memories. Our new life was not without its challenges. There were moments of doubt and insecurity, times when the past would creep back into our thoughts. But each time we faced it together, talking openly and honestly about our feelings. Our therapy sessions equipped us with tools to navigate these moments, and we leaned on each other for support. One evening, a few months into our new life, Sarah and I sat on the porch, watching the sunset. The sky was a brilliant mix of oranges and pinks, casting a warm glow over everything. Sarah rested her head on my shoulder, and I felt a profound sense of peace. "David," she said softly, "thank you for believing in us." I kissed the top of her head, feeling the same gratitude. "Thank you for fighting for us, Sarah. I love you." As the sun dipped below the horizon, I knew we had turned a significant corner. The move had given us the fresh start we needed, but more importantly, it reaffirmed our commitment to each other. We had faced our darkest moments and emerged stronger, more united. In the months that followed, we continued to build our new life. We explored new hobbies, made new friends, and even started volunteering together at a local animal shelter. Each new experience brought us closer, and our love grew deeper with each passing day. The road to healing was long, but we had learned to navigate it together. The pain of the past had not been erased, but it had been transformed into a source of strength and resilience. We had faced our fears, confronted our mistakes, and come out the other side more connected than ever. As I looked at the woman beside me, I knew that we had truly moved on. The future was bright, and with each new day, we were writing the next chapter of our story, together. With our move behind us, a new chapter unfolding, Sarah and I focused on building a life filled with new memories and shared experiences. The specter of the past still lingered at times, but it no longer defined us. We were determined to create a future that reflected our resilience and love. One of the first things we did was set up a dedicated game room in our new home. It was a space where we could host friends and immerse ourselves in the world of board games without any negative associations. We decorated the room with shelves filled with our favorite games, colorful posters, and a large table that could accommodate our growing collection. Our game nights became a staple of our social life. We invited new friends from the local board game club, as well as some of our old friends who made the trip to visit us. The laughter and camaraderie that filled our home during these evenings were a stark contrast to the tension and sadness of the previous year. Each game played and each story shared was a step towards building a happier future. One evening, while setting up for a particularly large game night, Sarah and I took a moment to appreciate how far we had come. "Can you believe how much things have changed?" she asked, her eyes shining with happiness. I smiled, feeling a surge of gratitude. "It's amazing. We've created something really special here." Our weekends were no longer filled with dread and uncertainty. Instead, we embraced the opportunity to explore our new city. We became regulars at the local farmers market, where we would buy fresh produce and chat with the vendors. We discovered quaint coffee shops and hidden gems in our neighborhood, making it truly feel like home. One Saturday, we decided to take a spontaneous road trip to the coast. The weather was perfect, and the open road called to us. As we drove, windows down and music playing, I felt a sense of freedom and joy that had been missing for so long. We spent the day walking along the beach, collecting seashells, and simply enjoying each other's company. As the sun set over the ocean, we sat on a blanket, watching the waves crash against the shore. Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder, and I wrapped my arm around her. "This is perfect," she said softly. "It is," I agreed, feeling a deep sense of contentment. I'm so glad we decided to do this. Our spontaneous adventures didn't stop there. We made it a point to try new things, from taking a cooking class together to signing up for a dance workshop. These experiences brought us closer and added layers of joy and connection to our relationship. We learned to laugh at our mistakes and celebrate our successes, no matter how small. In the midst of all this, our communication continued to improve. The openness and honesty we had developed in therapy became a cornerstone of our relationship. We made time for regular check-ins, where we would talk about our feelings, our goals, and any concerns that might arise. This proactive approach helped us address issues before they could fester and grow. One evening, after a particularly fun game night, Sarah and I sat on our porch, reflecting on our journey. The stars were bright in the sky, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the trees around us. "We've come so far," Sarah said, her voice filled with wonder. "We have," I agreed, "and I think the best part is that we did it together." She smiled, reaching for my hand. I wouldn't have it any other way. As the months passed, our new life continued to flourish. We celebrated holidays and birthdays with our newfound friends, creating traditions that were uniquely ours. We found joy in the little things, from morning coffee on the porch to lazy Sunday afternoons spent reading and playing games. Our relationship with our families also grew stronger. Sarah's parents visited often, their support unwavering. My parents, too, made the effort to be part of our new life, their visits filled with warmth and understanding. These family gatherings became moments of celebration and connection, reinforcing the bonds that had been tested but not broken. One particular visit from Sarah's parents stood out. We had planned a weekend full of activities, including a hike in the nearby mountains and a visit to a local winery. As we sat around the dinner table that first night, sharing stories and laughter, Karen raised her glass. "To new beginnings," she toasted, her eyes misty with emotion. "To new beginnings," we all echoed, clinking our glasses together. That toast encapsulated everything we had been working towards. It was a recognition of our past struggles and a celebration of the strength and love that had carried us through. It was a promise to continue building a future that honored our journey and embraced the possibilities ahead. As the year drew to a close, Sarah and I found ourselves reflecting on the milestones we had reached. Our first anniversary since the affair had passed quietly, marked by a private, heartfelt celebration. We acknowledged the pain but focused on the growth and the love that had emerged from it. One crisp autumn evening, we sat by the fire pit in our backyard, wrapped in blankets and sipping hot cocoa. The flames danced and crackled, casting a warm glow on our faces. "What do you see for our future?" Sarah asked, her voice filled with curiosity and hope. I thought for a moment, gazing at the stars. I see us continuing to grow together, creating new memories and supporting each other through whatever comes our way. I see us finding joy in the journey and strength in our love. She smiled, her eyes shining with unshed tears. That sounds perfect. In that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, we were ready to face them together. We had built a new life on a foundation of trust, love, and resilience. And as we looked towards the future, hand in hand, I felt an unshakable belief in our shared destiny. We had moved on from the past, but we had also integrated it into our story, allowing it to shape us into the couple we were meant to be. The future was bright, and together, we were ready to embrace it. As Sarah and I continued to build our new life together, there was one area we knew needed special attention: our intimacy. The emotional wounds from the affair had created a distance between us that was difficult to bridge, but we were determined to rediscover the closeness we once shared. Our therapist suggested dedicating time to reconnect physically and emotionally. We began with small gestures, like holding hands more often, sharing lingering kisses, and finding moments to touch throughout the day. These simple acts of affection helped rebuild the trust and comfort that had been shaken. One evening, we decided to take things further and planned a romantic getaway. We booked a cozy cabin in the mountains, secluded and surrounded by nature. The drive up was filled with anticipation, a mix of excitement and nervousness about what this time away would mean for us. When we arrived, the cabin was everything we had hoped for, rustic yet comfortable, with a fireplace and a hot tub on the deck overlooking a breathtaking view of the forest. We unpacked and settled in, letting the tranquility of the surroundings wash over us. That first night, we cooked dinner together, a simple but delicious meal. The process of preparing food side by side and sharing smiles and light touches felt intimate and grounding. We ate by candlelight, the flickering flames casting a warm glow that made everything feel more special. After dinner, we sat by the fireplace, sipping wine and talking. The conversation flowed easily, from reminiscing about our early days together to sharing our hopes for the future. It was a reminder of the deep bond we had always shared, a bond that had endured even the toughest challenges. "David," Sarah said softly, her eyes reflecting the firelight, "I've missed this us, being so connected." I reached out and took her hand, squeezing it gently. "I've missed it too, Sarah. I'm so glad we're finding our way back." As the evening grew late, we decided to take a dip in the hot tub. The cool night air contrasted with the warmth of the bubbling water, creating a perfect setting for relaxation. We slipped into the water, the tension in our bodies melting away. We sat close together, the steam rising around us, creating a sense of intimacy and privacy. I wrapped my arm around Sarah, pulling her close. She rested her head on my shoulder, and we sat in comfortable silence for a while, simply enjoying the closeness. After a few minutes, Sarah lifted her head and looked at me, her expression tender. "David, I want to apologize again for everything. I know it's taken time, but I'm so grateful for your forgiveness and patience." I looked into her eyes, feeling the depth of her sincerity. "Sarah, we've both made mistakes, and we both worked hard to move past them. I forgive you, and I'm thankful for your patience with me too. We're in this together." Our conversation that night was a turning point. It felt like we had finally shed the last remnants of doubt and fear, leaving only the love and commitment that had always been at the core of our relationship. The rest of the weekend was filled with moments of connection and tenderness. We hiked through the beautiful trails, holding hands and marveling at the beauty around us. We shared quiet mornings with coffee on the deck, watching the sunrise. And at night, we rediscovered the physical intimacy that had once been so natural between us. It wasn't just about the physical acts of love, but about the emotional closeness that came with them. We felt more connected than we had in a long time, our bond strengthened by the trials we had faced and overcome together. Returning home from the getaway, we brought that sense of closeness and intimacy with us. We made it a point to continue dedicating time to each other, whether it was through regular date nights, surprise gestures of affection, or simply making space to talk and connect each day. One evening, a few weeks after our trip, we decided to recreate a bit of that magic at home. We set up a makeshift spa night in our bathroom, complete with candles, soothing music, and a bubble bath. We took turns giving each other massages, the intimate touch further deepening our connection. As we lay in bed that night, wrapped in each other's arms, I felt a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. "Sarah, I feel like we finally found our way back to each other," I said, my voice filled with emotion. She smiled, her eyes shining with love. "We have, David. And I think we're even stronger now." Our journey of rediscovering intimacy was ongoing, but each step brought us closer. We learned to cherish the small moments of connection, to communicate openly about our needs and desires, and to support each other in healing and growing. The intimacy we rebuilt went beyond the physical. It was an emotional and spiritual closeness that anchored our relationship, reminding us of the love and commitment that had seen us through the darkest times. As we continued to move forward, I knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, we would face them together, our bond unbreakable and our love enduring. With each passing day, we created new memories and deepened our connection, ensuring that our relationship was not only healed but thriving. And in that thriving, we found happiness and fulfillment that made every effort worthwhile. As the months passed, the changes Sarah and I made in our relationship continued to strengthen our bond. The idea of renewing our wedding vows began to take shape as a symbolic gesture of our renewed commitment to each other. It wasn't just about making a public statement. It was about celebrating how far we had come and reaffirming our love in the presence of those who had supported us. One evening, as we sat together on the porch, I broached the subject. "Sarah, what do you think about renewing our vows?" She looked at me, her eyes lighting up with surprise and happiness. "David, I would love that. It would mean so much to recommit to each other in front of our family and friends." With our decision made, we began planning the ceremony. We wanted it to be intimate and meaningful, reflecting the journey we had undertaken together. We chose a beautiful botanical garden as the venue, a place filled with vibrant flowers and lush greenery, symbolizing the growth and renewal of our relationship. Our invitations went out to close family and friends, those who had been with us through the hardest times. Everyone was thrilled to be part of this special occasion, and their excitement only added to our anticipation. The weeks leading up to the ceremony were filled with preparations. We chose simple but elegant attire, Sarah in a flowing white dress, and I in a classic suit. We selected meaningful readings and wrote our vows, pouring our hearts into the words that would express our love and commitment. On the day of the ceremony, the weather was perfect. The sun shone brightly, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of blooming flowers. As we arrived at the botanical garden, I felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This moment was so important, a culmination of everything we had worked towards. Our guests gathered in a secluded area of the garden, where chairs were arranged in a semicircle around a small altar adorned with flowers. As the music began to play, Sarah walked down the aisle, her smile radiant and her eyes filled with emotion. She looked more beautiful than ever, and my heart swelled with love and gratitude. When she reached me, we took each other's hands, the world around us fading away. The officiant, a close friend who had been with us through our journey, began the ceremony with heartfelt words about love, forgiveness, and renewal. Then came the moment we had been waiting for, our vows. Sarah went first, her voice trembling slightly with emotion. "David, standing here with you today, I am reminded of the love that has seen us through the darkest times. I vow to cherish you, to support you, and to love you unconditionally. Together we have faced our fears and come out stronger. I promise to continue growing with you, to honor our bond, and to always strive for a love that is deep, honest, and enduring." As she finished, there were tears in her eyes, and I felt a lump in my throat. It was my turn. "Sarah, from the moment I met you, I knew you were the one I wanted to spend my life with. We have faced unimaginable challenges, but through it all, our love has persevered. I vow to stand by you, to be your rock, and to love you with all my heart. I promise to nurture our relationship, to communicate openly, and to always be there for you. Our journey has made us stronger, and I look forward to every moment we will share. The officiant declared us renewed in our vows, and we sealed our commitment with a kiss. Our friends and family erupted in applause, their joy and support palpable. As we turned to face them hand in hand, I felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. This ceremony was not just a renewal of our vows, but a celebration of our resilience and the enduring strength of our love. The reception that followed was filled with laughter, heartfelt toasts, and dancing under the stars. Our friends and family shared their memories and wishes for our future, their words a testament to the support and love that had helped us through our journey. At one point during the evening, Mike pulled me aside. "David, this was beautiful. You and Sarah have come so far." "I'm proud of you both." I smiled, feeling the sincerity of his words. "Thanks, Mike. It means a lot to have you here supporting us." As the night drew to a close, Sarah and I took a moment to step away from the festivities. We walked through the garden, hand in hand, savoring the beauty of the night and the significance of what we had just experienced. "David, today was perfect," Sarah said softly. "Thank you for suggesting this." I looked at her, my heart full. It was perfect because we're perfect for each other. "I love you, Sarah." "I love you too," she replied, her eyes shining with happiness. The ceremony not only reaffirmed our commitment to each other, but also strengthened our bond in a way that felt profound and unbreakable. As we continued to walk through the garden, I knew that our future was bright, filled with love, hope, and the promise of new beginnings. Renewing our vows was more than just a ceremony. It was a powerful reminder of our journey and the strength of our love. It symbolized our resilience, our growth, and our unwavering commitment to each other. And as we moved forward, we did so with a renewed sense of purpose and a deep, abiding love that would carry us through whatever lay ahead. As Sarah and I reflected on our journey, we realized that our story was far from over. The renewal of our vows had marked the end of one chapter, but the beginning of another, a chapter filled with hope, growth, and the endless possibilities of the future. With our relationship stronger than ever, we felt ready to tackle new challenges and pursue new dreams. We had learned valuable lessons about communication, forgiveness, and resilience, and we were determined to carry those lessons forward as we navigated the road ahead. One of our biggest dreams was to start a family. We had always talked about having children, but the events of the past year had put those plans on hold. Now, with our relationship in a stable and loving place, we felt ready to take the next step. We began researching adoption agencies and fertility clinics, exploring our options and learning about the journey that lay ahead. It was a daunting process, filled with uncertainties and unknowns, but we approached it with optimism and determination. As we embarked on this new chapter, we leaned on each other for support, drawing strength from the love and connection that had carried us through our darkest moments. We attended support groups for couples struggling with infertility, finding solace in the shared experiences of others. Through it all, our bond only grew stronger. We found comfort in the knowledge that no matter what challenges we faced, we would face them together as a team. Our relationship had weathered storms that we never could have imagined, and we emerged on the other side more united than ever. In addition to starting a family, we also pursued other dreams and passions. Sarah enrolled in a photography course, rediscovering her love for capturing the beauty of the world around her through the lens of her camera. I began writing again, pouring my thoughts and feelings into stories that reflected our journey and the lessons we had learned along the way. Together, we traveled to new places, explored new hobbies, and savored the simple joys of everyday life. We made a conscious effort to prioritize our relationship, carving out time for date nights, weekend getaways, and quiet moments of connection. As the months passed, we found ourselves growing more hopeful about the future. Our dreams of starting a family felt within reach, and we allowed ourselves to imagine what our life would be like with children of our own. One evening, as we sat together on the porch, watching the sunset, Sarah turned to me with a smile. "David, I can't wait to see what the future holds for us." I took her hand in mine, feeling a surge of gratitude. "Me too, Sarah. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together." As we looked out at the world stretching out before us, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, I knew that our journey was far from over. But with Sarah by my side, I felt ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited us in the chapters yet to come. Our story had been one of struggle, pain, and redemption, but it was also a story of love, resilience, and hope. As we stood on the threshold of this new chapter, I knew that our love would be the guiding light that would lead us through whatever challenges lay ahead. With hearts full of love and hope, we stepped forward into the unknown, ready to embrace the next chapter of our journey together. As we did, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the incredible woman by my side and the extraordinary love that had carried us through it all. The arrival of our long-awaited child marked the beginning of a new and profoundly transformative chapter in our lives. The moment we held our baby in our arms for the first time, all the trials and tribulations we had faced seemed to fade into insignificance, replaced by an overwhelming wave of love and joy. Parenthood was a journey we had dreamed of for so long, and now that it was finally here, we were filled with a sense of awe and wonder. The sleepless nights, the endless diaper changes, the cries and laughter, all of it was a testament to the miracle of life and the depth of our love for our child. Sarah and I approached parenthood, as we had approached every other challenge in our relationship, with open hearts, unwavering commitment, and a willingness to learn and grow together. We attended parenting classes, read books on child development, and sought advice from friends and family who had walked this path before us. As we navigated the ups and downs of parenthood, we leaned on each other for support, drawing strength from the bond we had forged through our shared experiences. We took turns comforting our baby during late-night feedings, celebrated each milestone with joy and pride, and cherished the quiet moments of connection as a family. Watching Sarah with our child filled me with a profound sense of admiration and gratitude. She was a natural mother, her love and nurturing instincts shining through in everything she did. Together, we created a loving and supportive environment for our child to grow and thrive, filled with laughter, warmth, and unconditional love. Becoming parents also brought new challenges and responsibilities, but we faced them with courage and determination. We learned to prioritize self-care and make time for each other amidst the demands of parenthood. Date nights became sacred rituals, a chance for us to reconnect and nurture our relationship amidst the chaos of daily life. As our children grew, we marveled at the unique individual they were becoming, a perfect blend of Sarah's kindness and my determination, with a spark of curiosity and wonder all their own. We delighted in watching them discover the world around them, guiding and supporting them every step of the way. Parenthood brought its share of challenges, but it also brought immeasurable joy and fulfillment. Our child brought new meaning to our lives, teaching us the true value of love, patience, and sacrifice. Together we embraced the messy, beautiful journey of raising a child, knowing that every moment was a precious gift to be cherished. As we watched our child take their first steps, utter their first words, and explore the world with wide-eyed wonder, we felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the privilege of being their parents. Our journey together had been filled with twists and turns, but through it all, our love had only grown stronger, anchoring us in the storms and lifting us in moments of triumph. As we looked towards the future, we knew that parenthood would continue to challenge and inspire us, shaping us into the parents and the people we were meant to be. And as we walked this path together, hand in hand, I knew that our love would be the guiding light that would lead us through every step of the journey. As our child grew, our lives continued to evolve in unexpected ways. Parenthood brought new joys and challenges, but it also tested our relationship in ways we never could have imagined. We faced sleepless nights, teething troubles, and the constant juggle of work and family life. But through it all, we remained steadfast in our commitment to each other and our family. As our child entered school, we found ourselves navigating a whole new set of challenges, from homework assignments to extracurricular activities. Our days were filled with a whirlwind of school-related tasks and responsibilities. But amidst the chaos, we found moments of connection and laughter, forging memories that would last a lifetime. As our child grew older, we began to grapple with the complexities of parenting a teenager. We faced tough conversations about peer pressure, identity, and the challenges of adolescence. We listened with open hearts and minds, offering support and guidance as our child navigated the ups and downs of growing up. Our relationship continued to evolve as well. We celebrated milestones together, from anniversaries to promotions, finding joy in each other's successes and solace in each other's arms during times of struggle. We continued to prioritize our relationship, making time for date nights and weekend getaways, even as our schedules grew increasingly hectic. But life had a way of throwing unexpected curveballs our way. We faced job losses, health scares, and financial setbacks, each challenge testing our resilience and forcing us to dig deep into our reserves of strength and determination. But through it all, we faced these challenges together, leaning on each other for support and finding strength in our shared love and commitment. As our child prepared to leave the nest and embark on their journey, we found ourselves grappling with a new set of emotions. We felt pride and excitement for the adventures that lay ahead, but also a twinge of sadness at the thought of our child spreading their wings and leaving the safety of our home. But as we watched our child walk across the stage at graduation, diploma in hand and smile on their face, we knew that we had done our job as parents. We had raised a confident, compassionate, and capable young adult ready to take on the world. As we hugged our child tight, tears of joy and pride streaming down our faces, we knew that our love would always be a guiding light, leading our children forward on their journey. As we looked towards the future, we knew that life would continue to throw unexpected twists and turns our way. But with each challenge we faced, we grew stronger, more resilient, and more deeply connected. Our love had weathered the storms of life, emerging stronger and more enduring than ever before. And as we walked hand in hand into the sunset of our lives, surrounded by the love of our family and friends, we knew that no matter what the future held, we would face it together, with hearts full of love and gratitude for the journey we had shared. As we entered the later years of our lives, Sarah and I found ourselves reflecting on the legacy we had created together, a legacy of love, resilience, and unwavering commitment. Our journey had been filled with ups and downs, twists and turns, but through it all, our love had remained constant, a guiding light that had carried us through the darkest of times. As we looked back on our lives together, we felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the experiences we had shared, the lessons we had learned, and the love that had sustained us through it all. Our relationship had been tested in ways we never could have imagined, but each challenge had only served to strengthen our bond and deepen our appreciation for each other. We found joy in the simple pleasures of everyday life, sharing meals, taking long walks hand in hand, and reminiscing about the memories we had created over the years. We laughed at the silly moments, cried during the difficult ones, and celebrated each triumph, no matter how small. Our children had grown and started families of their own, and we reveled in the role of grandparents, showering our grandchildren with love and affection. Watching them grow and thrive brought us immeasurable joy, a reminder of the beauty and resilience of life's cycle. As we faced the inevitable challenges of aging, we did so with grace and dignity, leaning on each other for support and finding strength in our shared history. We navigated health scares and loss with courage and resilience, drawing comfort from the knowledge that we were not alone in our journey. Our love had stood the test of time, growing more profound with each passing year. We had weathered the storms of life together, emerging stronger and more united than ever before. And as we looked towards the future, we knew that our love would continue to be the foundation upon which we built our lives. As we sat together on the porch watching the sunset on another day, I took Sarah's hand in mine, feeling the warmth of her touch and the depth of her love. Sarah, I am so grateful for the life we have shared. You have been my rock, my confidant, and my greatest source of strength. I love you more than words can express. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she squeezed my hand gently. And I love you, David, more than I can say. Our journey together has been the greatest gift of my life, and I am so thankful for every moment we have shared. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the world around us, we sat in comfortable silence, knowing that no matter what the future held, we would face it together, with hearts full of love and gratitude for the journey we had shared. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, we felt a sense of peace wash over us, knowing that our love would endure for eternity, a timeless reminder of the beauty and power of true love. As the years passed and we grew older, Sarah's health began to decline. We faced her illness with courage and resilience, but we knew that our time together was limited. As we prepared for the inevitable, we found solace in the love and memories we had shared, cherishing each moment we had left together. We surrounded ourselves with family and friends, drawing strength from their love and support. Our children rallied around us, offering comfort and assistance as we navigated this difficult journey together. And as Sarah's condition worsened, we found peace in the knowledge that she was surrounded by love until the very end. In her final days, we shared memories, laughter, and tears, reminiscing about the life we had built together and the love that had sustained us through it all. We held hands and whispered words of love and gratitude, finding comfort in each other's presence as we faced the unknown together. As Sarah's time drew near, we gathered by her bedside, our hearts heavy with sorrow but also filled with love. We held each other close, sharing stories and memories as we said our final goodbyes. As she took her last breath, surrounded by the people she loved most in the world, I felt a sense of peace wash over me, knowing that she was finally free from pain and suffering. In the days that followed, we mourned Sarah's passing with heavy hearts and tearful eyes. But amidst the grief, we also found moments of solace and gratitude, remembering the love and joy she had brought into our lives. We honored her memory with a beautiful memorial service, celebrating her life and the impact she had on all who knew her. As I stood before our friends and family, sharing memories and words of love, I felt Sarah's presence all around me, guiding me forward with her spirit and her love. And as we laid her to rest, surrounded by flowers and the gentle whisper of the wind, I knew that she would always be with me, a guiding light in the darkness. In the days, weeks, and months that followed, I found comfort in the memories we had shared and the love that had sustained us through it all. I took solace in the knowledge that Sarah's legacy would live on in our children and grandchildren, a reminder of the love and strength that had defined our relationship. As I navigated life without Sarah by my side, I found solace in the love and support of our family and friends. I cherished the memories we had shared and found comfort in the knowledge that our love would endure for eternity, a timeless reminder of the beauty and power of true love. And as I looked towards the future, I knew that Sarah would always be with me, guiding me forward with her love and her spirit. Though she may be gone from this world, her memory would live on in my heart forever, a constant source of comfort and inspiration as I journeyed through life's twists and turns. In the wake of Sarah's passing, my world felt empty and void of color. The house echoed with her absence, each corner filled with memories of our life together. But amidst the grief and sorrow, I found solace in the love and support of our family and friends. As I navigated the difficult process of grieving, I sought comfort in the routines of daily life. I took long walks in nature, finding solace in the beauty of the world around me. I immersed myself in hobbies and activities that brought me joy, finding moments of peace amidst the chaos of loss. But as time passed, I began to feel a shift within me, a sense of acceptance and a newfound appreciation for life's fleeting beauty. I realized that Sarah would want me to find happiness and fulfillment, to embrace each day with gratitude and courage. With the support of our loved ones, I embarked on a journey of self-discovery and renewal. I explored new interests, pursued new passions, and sought out opportunities for growth and personal development. I volunteered in my community, giving back in honor of Sarah's spirit of generosity and compassion. As I immersed myself in these new experiences, I found a renewed sense of purpose and meaning in life. I discovered that joy could coexist with sorrow and that love could endure even in the face of loss. And as I opened my heart to new possibilities, I found that life had a way of surprising me with unexpected blessings and opportunities. I reconnected with old friends and made new ones, finding companionship and support in the shared journey of healing and growth. I embraced the beauty of the present moment, savoring each sunrise and sunset as a reminder of life's preciousness and impermanence. In the quiet moments of reflection, I felt Sarah's presence all around me, a gentle whisper in the wind, a fleeting glimpse in the stars above. And as I looked towards the future, I knew that she would always be with me, guiding me forward with her love and her spirit. With each passing day, I found a renewed sense of peace and gratitude for the life we had shared. I honored Sarah's memory by living each day with courage, kindness, and compassion, knowing that she would be proud of the person I had become. As I embraced this new chapter of my life, I felt a sense of optimism and hope for the future. I knew that Sarah's love would always be a part of me, a guiding light that would lead me forward on the journey of life. And as I stepped into the unknown, I did so with a heart full of love and gratitude for the incredible woman who had touched my life in so many ways. In the wake of Sarah's passing, I felt a deep sense of responsibility to carry on her legacy and honor her memory in meaningful ways. As I reflected on the impact she had made on our family and community, I knew that her spirit of love, compassion, and generosity would live on through the lives she had touched. One of the ways I chose to honor Sarah's legacy was by continuing the charitable work she had been passionate about during her lifetime. I became actively involved in organizations and causes that were dear to her heart, from supporting local shelters to advocating for environmental conservation. I also found solace in sharing Sarah's story with others, spreading awareness about the importance of cherishing every moment and living life with purpose and gratitude. Through speaking engagements and writing, I sought to inspire others to embrace the beauty of life and the power of love, even in the face of adversity. As I navigated this new chapter of my life, I found strength and comfort in the love and support of our family and friends. Together, we created a support network that helped us through the difficult moments and celebrated the joys of life's journey. In addition to honoring Sarah's legacy, I also found fulfillment in nurturing relationships with our children and grandchildren, passing on the values and traditions that had been so important to Sarah and me. I shared stories of her kindness and wisdom, keeping her memory alive in the hearts of our loved ones. As time passed, I came to realize that Sarah's legacy was not just about the impact she had made on the world, but also the love and wisdom she had imparted to those she cherished most. Her spirit lived on in the laughter of our grandchildren, the kindness of our children, and the love that bound our family together. In the quiet moments of reflection, I felt Sarah's presence all around me, a gentle reminder of the love that had sustained us through the years. And as I looked towards the future, I knew that her legacy would continue to inspire and guide me on the journey ahead. With each passing day, I found renewed purpose and meaning in carrying on Sarah's legacy, knowing that her love would always be a source of strength and guidance in my life. As I embraced the opportunities and challenges that lay ahead, I did so with a heart full of gratitude for the incredible woman who had touched my life in so many profound ways. As I continued to honor Sarah's memory and legacy, I found myself drawn to the idea of embracing new beginnings and opportunities for growth. Though her absence was deeply felt, I knew that she would want me to find happiness and fulfillment in life, even in her absence. With her love as my guiding light, I began to explore new avenues for personal and professional development. I enrolled in courses and workshops that sparked my curiosity, eager to expand my knowledge and skills in areas that had long piqued my interest. One particular passion that I had always harbored was travel. Sarah and I had dreamed of exploring the world together, but life's responsibilities had always seemed to get in the way. Now, with the freedom to pursue my dreams, I decided to embark on a solo journey of discovery. I planned a trip to destinations I had only ever dreamed of visiting, from the bustling streets of Tokyo to the tranquil beaches of Bali. Each new place I explored brought with it a sense of wonder and adventure, filling me with a renewed appreciation for the beauty and diversity of the world. But amidst the excitement of travel, I also found moments of introspection and reflection. As I stood atop a mountain peak or watched the sun set over the horizon, I felt Sarah's presence all around me, a gentle reminder of the love and memories we had shared. In addition to travel, I also sought out opportunities for connection and community in my everyday life. I joined clubs and groups that aligned with my interests, forging new friendships and connections with like-minded individuals who shared my passion for life and adventure. As I immersed myself in these new experiences, I felt a sense of liberation and empowerment, a realization that life was too precious to be spent dwelling on the past or holding on to regrets. Instead, I chose to embrace each day as a gift, filled with infinite possibilities and opportunities for growth. With each new beginning, I felt Sarah's spirit cheering me on, urging me to live life to the fullest and seize every moment with gratitude and joy. And as I looked towards the future, I knew that she would always be with me, guiding me forward on the journey of life. As I embraced the adventure of new beginnings, I did so with a heart full of love and gratitude for the incredible woman who had touched my life in so many profound ways. And as I stepped boldly into the unknown, I knew that her legacy would continue to inspire and guide me on the path ahead.